What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, for those of you who didn't shell out the $600 for the Infinity Saga Box Set, and trust me, I feel you, you've seen all the movies already and probably own a couple copies yourself, there were 20 deleted scenes from the entirety of the first 3 phases included on a bonus Blu-ray disc that's non-copyable by copyright laws, as well as non-sourceable anywhere else on the internet. Now, as far as fair use policy is concerned, though, I can go frame by frame and break down all of these deleted scenes for you, as I'm going to be doing on the channel over the next week, or at least the ones that are important. And today we're going to start with the fabled scene of Professor Hulk in Infinity War. We heard about this famously from the directors, the Russos, and the writers Marcus and McFeely already, about how they wanted to include Professor Hulk in the original Infinity War movie at the end, but it just didn't feel right. We're going to go frame by frame, compiled over about 50 frames of this scene, and you're going to see firsthand from the dialogue and the action why this may have not fit the end of Infinity War and was best moved to the beginning of Endgame. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including a couple of these Infinity Saga limited edition box sets, so you can get your hands on one of these Blu-rays yourself. If you missed the last announcements for the 500k PlayStation 4 winners, they were in the last video. All you have to do is go check that out on Phase 5. All you have to do to be entered to win any of this stuff, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, as I said moments ago in the prologue, I cannot show any footage or frames from this deleted scene, but I myself have the Blu-ray disc, and I'm going to break it down frame by frame. And it's actually important to note this is a compiling of 2 specific deleted scenes, one called Smart Hulk Busting Out and the other called Smart Hulk Doesn't Need a Lullaby. It starts with raw footage, but playing out exactly the way the Hulkbusters squared off against Obsidian in the end of Infinity War, except Banner starts talking to the Hulk while they're getting their butt beat. He says, Banner's voice, "Big guy, I know we're having some issues here," and it cuts between the raw CGI footage and Mark Ruffalo doing his best Hulk impression. What's really cool is that Hulk voice is actually him. There's not a lot of vocal effects on it. He can really make that Hulk voice. Again, he says, "Big guy, I know we're having some issues here, but if you're gonna come popping out at any moment, this would be a really good time for that to happen." And then you hear him cut to Hulk's voice. He says, "No, Banner only want Hulk for fighting." Cutting back to Banner's voice, "So what? You like to fight." Cutting back to Hulk, "Banner hate Hulk." And this is when it starts to get very Gollum-esque. He's really talking to himself full on here. He replies, "You're more of an Avenger than I am. I love you." This is what Banner is saying to the Hulk. "You're more of an Avenger than I am." The scene then changes mid-dialogue, cutting between the CGI and Mark Ruffalo to cutting between Banner and the Hulk, both under the HUD of the Hulkbuster himself, still talking to himself. He goes, "I just want to live." Banner replies, "I just want to live too, man." Hulk says, "Me too." And Banner says, "So let's live." Hulk says, "Okay, let's live and let live." Yes, live and let live. And Banner says, "I got an idea." That's when it cuts back to the CGI of Obsidian going to climb up the mountainside, and the Hulk decides he's going to start hitting him with Hulkbuster repulsor blasts, even though he's pretty beat up already. Obsidian turns around, walks towards the Hulk, starts beating the crap out of him, then picks up this huge rock and goes to smash him. And that's when the scene cuts of raw footage of them fighting back to a studio wide shot, Mark Ruffalo in full mocap acting this out, kneeling, going to catch the force of the rock, and realizes he has the strength to catch it. That's when his eyes open. We would see Professor Hulk in the Hulkbuster for the first time, and he says, "We worked it out." He springs into action, immediately countering Obsidian. He does a leg roll, throws him into some sort of weird leg toss, then takes the foot from the Hulkbuster, straps it onto Obsidian, and sends him flying towards the sky the same way that it played out in the original scene. He hits the barrier over Wakanda, burns up, and then his axe comes smashing to the ground. That's when it cuts to the second time I got chills during the scene. The Hulk leans over and looks into the pool of water, only to see what his face looks like as a merged version of the Professor Hulk. That ends this scene and then moves seamlessly into the next deleted scene called Smart Hulk Doesn't Need a Lullaby. He's moving through the woods, you hear birds chirping, and then it's a scene of Falcon and Black Widow. They're moving through the woods as well and finally stumble upon the Hulk, and that's when Black Widow says, "Look who finally decided to show up," and then extends her left hand saying, "The sun's getting real low, big guy," much in the way she did the last time she saw him all the way back in Age of Ultron, except this time Professor Hulk just exclaims, "Hello, Nat," in his Professor Hulk voice. The acting by Scarlett Johansson in this scene is so good. I actually got chills for the third time. She is completely shocked, and although she's choked up, she's able to murmur the words, "Bruce," and that's when he replies, "We worked it out." And this scene is so cool. It's got Mark Ruffalo in mocap standing on top of the log in the main screen, and then it's got the CGI screen in screen in the bottom right hand corner of the Hulk playing simultaneously as Mark Ruffalo acts it out. It goes to a wider screen with them both in frame right now. He says, "In fact, I'd say it's gone from worst case scenario," and then stops himself for a minute and says, "Well, I don't know if it's best case scenario, but I would say it's definitely manageable." It screens back to Nat. She is completely shocked and choked up, and she turns around, astonishment on her face, her jaw is dropped, to Falcon. He looks at her and goes, "I hear it too," as to say, yeah, you're not hearing things, this is really happening. She then turns back and looks at him, and you get a really warm shot between the two of them looking back and forth at each other. He asks how they're doing out there in battle. Falcon says they're doing all right. It's a really touching moment, and I wish they had included it in the end of Infinity War, because you get to see how they worked out Professor Hulk. It had nothing to do with the gamma radiation lab, but rather them agreeing to work together as a co-entity, which I liked much more. And B, once he's finally agreed to do that and they become one, the Professor, or Smart Hulk as they call him in the scene cuts, he gets to share that moment with Natasha Romanoff. You get to see how much that means to her, that he's finally been able to conquer this. But while basking in the glory that was this scene in Infinity War that I would have loved to have had, I can see why they cut it, and maybe you can as well. This was such a triumphant moment for the Hulk specifically, and I feel like we would have all loved Professor Hulk a lot more and not felt as let down by this iteration of the character in lieu of not having like a world breaker or a mass power level Hulk. If we had gotten to share in this poignant moment, this transformative moment where they agree to work together, and then seen this moment been shared with Nat. The only problem being is that seconds, if not minutes after this, Thanos would become triumphant, snap, and kill half of the universe. And I don't think it's that hard to remember how we all felt when that happened. It's the lowest of lows and a crazy way to end an Avengers movie, I'm sure, during multiple playbacks, and probably the primary reason that the principal CGI isn't even finished on this scene. They nixed this early in the game. You can't have this much triumph, even if it's one specific character, and have this much reunion and catharsis between him and Black Widow right before you have the lowest of moments for the Avengers. And it would have been awesome for us to see how they merged Professor Hulk. I much prefer this origin, but it just didn't play in lieu of the way that the story went. And considering how right they got Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, you can't do it all. Now, I don't like the explanation that they gave, that they ran him into a gamma lab and that he sort of figured this out forcefully, but the truth is that Professor Hulk didn't do what he really needed to do for the fans, and that's on much chronicled record, not only on this channel, but amongst the fan base as well. Now, we have the newest report that Mark Ruffalo has officially met with Kevin Feige now multiple times to pitch his ideas for where he'd like the Hulk to go in the storyline and where Kevin Feige would like the story to go as well. And even though there have been rumors about other Hulks joining the MCU, we know for sure She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, will be joining the MCU. Newsflash, that's his cousin. He's actually involved directly with turning her into Hulk, so there's a good chance he'll be showing up during her series, as well as rumors of the Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross, and even Amadeus Cho. We covered that here at the channel. His mom, Helen Cho, was the scientist during Age of Ultron. There's a chance they may introduce that iteration of the Hulk too, making 4 total in the MCU, but all we really want to see is the original Hulk, Bruce Banner, reach one of his highest power levels, something like Heart of the Monster Hulk or World Breaker. You guys let me know what you think in the comments about all of this. Having all of these deleted scenes included on a ridiculously priced box set, then having that box set severely limited in production number at that, and also making it impossible for us to share it. That's kind of a weird move by Disney. It makes me think that they'll probably release this content at a later date to the masses, so don't worry about not being able to see it yet too much. I think at some point they're probably going to show it somewhere else. That's why they're locking it down for the people who bought this. Now, let me know what you think in the comments about that, as well as the scene itself, and if you would have preferred to have seen the merging of Professor Hulk during Infinity War and shared in that moment like me. I know it would have been a little awkward with the snap coming after it, but man, I just liked being in on that a lot more than having it happen off screen. Let me know what you think in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're already off to a racing start towards the next PlayStation 4 Pro that will be at the 550,000 subscriber mark. If you missed the 2 winners for the 500,000 subscriber mark. All you have to do, go look at the video posted yesterday. I'll link it at the end of this. It eventually will rotate out of that link spot though. So it's the video posted on Marvel Phase 5 and releasing the 5 new release dates. There are 2 winners announced at the end of the video. If you want to be entered to win any of the other prizes, the PlayStations or the Infinity Saga box sets that we are giving away here at the channel, we got our hands on a couple to give away. All you have to do, and all the same rules apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video. That automatically enters you to win all of the prizes, the PlayStations, the Infinity Saga box sets, and any of the prizes in the future. And because it's truly random, the more videos that you like and comment on, the better chance that you have of winning. My name is Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.